Alrighty guys, what's going on everybody? Welcome here to a live stream. Hope everyone is doing good. First of all, thank you to Mark. Dude coming in here with a bit of support before the stream even started. So, big shout out goes to Mark, man. Thank you so much, dude, for the 5. Appreciate it. So, big thumbs up goes to you. Anyways, let's go ahead and see who we got here for today before we really dive on into today's live stream. We have Crystal, we have Caleb, Brooklyn, let's see here, we have Grace, we have ourselves, let's see here, Misty, Radioactive, I'm scrolling down the line here, let's see here, John, MP, see, Tristan, I think it's your name, let's see here, we have Kim, we have Michael, what's up guys, hope everyone's doing good, glad to have y'all here. Let's see here, what's up Joseph, hope you're doing alright. So, we are watching a pretty decent sized storm system that has potential to drive a bit of issues across the country. This is the GFS model. This is our long range GFS, and this model here, as you can see, as we approach our way down in time here towards February 28th. Now, every stream I always say I don't like to forecast very far because of uncertainties with the models, but I mean this has been here for the last several GFS runs. So at this point, models are continuous, and they're continuing to post this storm here per every update that we get here. So this is continuously supporting this over the last several model runs. Now, in this case, what's going to be happening here is we're going to get ourselves some form of low pressure system here. Once again, this is towards the end of the month. I mean, it is still a couple days away, which is about a week away or so. Somewhere across the northern plains, central United States, we're going to have some form of a low pressure system that's going to swing its way through the country. It could be up high, it could be down low. A lot of that will determine on how severe things could get. So we'll have to keep an eye out there for that. But there will be potential for a lot of hazards. Let me actually go ahead and turn on my face cam. I don't think we're going to need California for this one here. So let me go ahead and go down here. Yeah, I had to hide it because everything was in the way, or my big old head was in the way of California when we were doing coverage here yesterday on California. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. But anyway, so yeah, the overall thing is that we're going to have this low pressure system that's going to fire up across the central country, which could drive a bunch of concerns. These classical systems, or these classic systems, they typically bring up a lot of warm air from the Gulf. Like I said, at this point, we'll see how it performs. Typically, if you see a lot of warm air, especially this time of the year, how we're starting to get closer to March, closer to storm season, a lot of that warmer air is going to start pulling into the country, and it could interact with the cooler air environment that's already in place. Therefore, maybe a bit of severe interaction could be a possibility across portions here of the south. We'll definitely be watching that. But also, on top of that, once again, depending on where this low pressure system ends up, how strong it is, and a lot of factors, there's still a lot of inputs that are still a little unknown right now. But there could be a bit of snow as well on the storm system. That typically happens on the top side. So to my folks out there in the northern plains, portions of the upper Midwest, maybe up in the Northeast, this is really far down in time. Maybe we could see a bit of snow. Now, once again, this is still a little ways away. If we hop over here to the last model to that, you can see how there's a big difference, big difference. Which, once again, like I said, I don't like forecasting far, but we're really going to be focusing here mostly for the 27th, as that's kind of whenever this system gets put together between the models. The models don't really agree much on that tracking to the northeast quite yet. Obviously we'll have to continue watching that over the next couple of days, but from what we know now, from what's on the table right now is, we're going to get that system. It's going to kick off across the country, and it will likely bring up a lot of moisture from the Gulf, which, with that cold air that's backing behind this low pressure system, could allow for the interaction of the warm and cold air to clash together, which that would be right on your cold front, in which maybe a bit of severe weather could be a possibility. So that's that. Can we see soundings from these runs? I know there's some unpredictability. Kind of want to see it. Yeah, we'll look at them. Like I said, they should be taken with a grain of salt at this point. Once again, we're still several days away. The reason I'm mentioning this even, once again, you know me, guys. You know me. I always say, like almost every live stream, if it's past 5 days, I don't like looking at it. But yeah, no, honestly, at this point, like I said, it's just something that, it's been popping up in the models for the last little bit, and it's just something that I wanted to, pull up here with you guys and look at it. By the way, at some point today, my live stream may cut out. My Wi-Fi's been being very, very slow today. So I just want to go ahead and mention that. That's usually what happens before it gives out on me. So just just a little bit of a heads up to you guys. That's the wrong screen. So yeah, let's go ahead and bring this up here. We're going to go ahead and pull up the instability. As you can see, this thing's loading very slow. So once again, just wanted to let you guys know that there. So we work our way down in time here. Obviously, we have ourselves actually a severe weather concern tomorrow. While that's loading, let me pull this up real quickly. Here for tomorrow, we do have ourselves a marginal risk, a level 1 severe weather concern here on the Storm Prediction Center's outlook. So, if you live across portions of southwestern areas here of Missouri, if you live up there in northeastern Oklahoma, just north of Tulsa, so it's really exclusive to the northeast. And southeastern Kansas. Yeah, that little area there, that's just a little severe weather concern tomorrow. So, like I said, it's honestly not going to be anything too significant considering there's no tornado threat tomorrow, less than 2% chance. Damaging winds, less than 5% chance. It's only a hail threat for tomorrow. So we possibly could see a few storms pop off that could have some hail up to quarter size. That is a possibility. But I just wanted to mention that real quickly. All right, let's go and hop on back to the models here. So like I was saying, we work our way down here in time. So there's that little system that rolls through, but that's not the one we're talking about. That's going to happen here for the 27th. Now the GFS, oh yeah, okay, yep, GFS definitely shows a lot of instability building all the way up here towards the Ohio Valley. Not sure what I think about that, honestly. Like I said, these models, they're still a little ways away, but this could be a big storm. This could be a really big storm. If this plays out the way that the models are talking right now, we could have a severe weather event on our hands. A pretty big one, actually. A pretty large one, and it will shoot up pretty far in the country, it looks like. So that's potential energy. That is the instability here. We'll see. Once again, this is, for 7 days away. Well, technically about 6 days away at this point, considering the 20th is almost done. Yeah, pretty much 7 days, because we're looking at the evening time anyways. So, I mean, there's a lot of instability there. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, at this point, it should still be taken with a grain of salt. Let me pull up the dew points. Now, dew points are very important. We're looking in the 60s and 70s. That's kind of right around where you want to be. Yeah, no, there's moisture. There's definitely a lot of moisture available there. Dew points well in the 60s. You know, once again, getting a lot of that warm advection, a lot of that warm moisture just being shot straight up into the country. And that will be bringing, you know, some severe potential. Okay, so keep that in mind. And once again, we're going to have a low-pressure system somewhere, probably up north in the northern plains. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I've seen that low-pressure system, you know, shift all over the place. That will really alter to who will see severe weather and who will see potential winter weather. So, I mean, we'll have to see how that plays out, okay? But yeah, at this point as well, I mean, we're also getting a shot of cold air too. It's not just warm air, it's a shot of cold air coming in from behind. It's that interaction point where your cold air and your warm air meet. That's your cold front. That's where the storms happen. That's where the big stuff occurs. So, I mean, like I said, it's still several days away, and it should still be taken with a grain of salt, but once again, the reason why I'm talking about this here is because this has been trending. This has been trending for a while. This has actually been trending in the models for quite a little bit. Quite a little bit, actually. And you can see this real big push. I mean, this really big push is that trough rolls through. Now, that's actually another thing I want to look at. So as we have all of that warm moisture rolling in, this is for sure going to allow for a lot of warm temperatures too. So to you guys out there in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, really, it's going to be warm. You know, coming in the next week here, early next week, this is what, you know, kind of right when we're talking about this happening. This is going to be pretty warm out there. Now, let me go ahead and bring up those winds here. We'll go ahead and forecast, bring it over to that time period. We're going to look at the mid-level winds here, and, well, there you go. There you see it. So a big streak of strong winds. We got that big trough here. So what that essentially means is that the jet stream is altering pretty far to the south. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and use red for this. It's easier to see. So the trough, you know, the jet stream is following kind of something like this. So that's kind of the pattern of the jet stream. So you see there's a big dip in the jet stream, big slide that goes down, and then you go right back up. So your low pressure system would be right on that dip, right on the lowest part of that dip there. That's right where your that low pressure system would end up being. So, I mean, like I said, dude, you know, there's a good shot with this. I mean, there's a lot of shear, a lot of strong winds across the atmosphere, and there's a lot of instability. I mean, I'm talking widespread amounts of instability. So, you know, we'll definitely have to see how this plays out. But, you know, like I said, the specifics of this storm right now, you know, of who's going to see the worst of it is still to be worked out. It's still to be determined. But for now, all we know is that there is a big storm here that is set to kick off, potentially across the country, driving, snow, once again, severe weather, and once again, even warm temperatures, like I mentioned. Definitely could get pretty warm out there, so that's a good thing, I guess. I guess some of you guys are ready for a warm-up. Let's actually hop over to those temperatures real quickly. Let's see what we got going on there, just to see how warm things could get. I mean, I know, you know, once again, as these systems roll through, you get, oh yeah, look at that. Wow. Holy cow. So, yeah, during these storm systems, you got all that air pulling north from the Gulf. I mean, from the tropics themselves. I mean, literally a big jet of air just screaming north into the country. And the opposite effect is happening, too. Like I said, there's cold air coming down as well. So you see how all these guys are kind of meeting up to one another? You know, that line there, that's your cold front. That's right where that cold front's at. So you see how they're going to eventually meet and then ram into each other, and then that's where the energy is going to start to be produced. And that's where all of your instability comes from, is those thermodynamic interactions between that cold air that's shooting down and the warm air that's pulling up. And once they collide, man, that's whenever you get some pretty nasty storms. So that's going to be one of the things I really think we need to watch out for in this event here. So we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see, March 2nd. Yeah, no, that's too far. Honestly, like I said, this event's really pushing it for me. I mean, like I said, I don't like looking far out. You considering this is a week away, I mean, I'm not going specifics quite yet because the models still have a lot of work to do. The models definitely still have a lot of work to do because right now the models are honestly still in a bit of disagreement mode. I mean, they're going to continue to be that way for, I'd say, at least another couple of days. We're not going to really know the specific details, I'd say at max about 3 days before the event happens. That's kind of whenever we really start to get the feel for what's going to happen here. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a couple days yet before we can really get into the specifics of the storm here. So at this point, I just want to go ahead and, like I said, I just want to go ahead and mention that. Let's see here. There'll be a winter. Yeah, there will likely be a winter side to it as well. Yeah, like I said, it really determines on where that low pressure system is located. That's going to have to do with a lot of it. That's going to have to do a lot with the of where that winter weather could potentially be. But it looks like it's going to be right in the north. How north, per se? I mean, as well as I do at this point. I mean, honestly, as well as I do. So we really don't know. We really don't know right now. But there has been the talks of, some winter weather definitely included. Now, this I can say pretty confidently. Those upper elevations out there in the west, they're probably going to really rack up some accumulations out of this storm system. There's a bunch of moisture comes down from the, let's see here, coming down from western Canada. As a bunch of that moisture rolls through, this will accumulate some snow in those upper elevations. That I'm very confident in telling you. And of course, with that low pressure system somewhere across the Midwest, I mean, that'll really show, where all the specifics are going to kind of be. So, you know what I'm saying? So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Kind of freaking out because of this. No, it's not to freak out about. I mean, obviously, I know it's a little concerning. I mean, for me, it's a little concerning. But, at this point being, I mean, there's just not enough information we know about it. Like I said, all we know right now is that sometime early next week, there's going to be a strong low pressure system somewhere throughout the Central Plains, up in the Northern Plains potentially, that's going to really pull up a lot of warm air from the Gulf, really shoot down a lot of cold air from the north, and we're going to have this big question mark zone. That's pretty much where we're gonna sit here come early next week. Like I said, I think that I think there is going to be some pretty big impacts on the storm system. That at this point I could say is a good likelihood. I think we will see a lot of big impacts with the storm here. But like I said, the specifics is still a little unknown and all that stuff. So, obviously I would keep an eye on it. Once again, nothing to freak out about. I mean, it's nothing to panic over and go buy as much groceries as you can. It's nothing like that. It's like I said, at this point, it's still being worked out by these models. But and like I said, the reason why I mentioned this in this live stream is because, like I said, this has been popping up here for several days, and also I think the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned it too, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they did on their day 4 to 8 outlook. Let me hop over there real quickly. Once again, my Wi-Fi is being terribly slow today, so my bad, you guys. If it cuts out at some point, then like I said, we'll continue to update you guys on a video or something like that. Okay, so here's their talk. Now, these are the official forecasters in Norman, Oklahoma. So here we go. Extended forecast range will be characterized by progressive upper flow featuring an eastern U.S. trough ridge over the west through Saturday, day 5. Low potential for severe thunderstorms is forecast through at least Monday, day 7, before models indicate that the possibility for northward moisture return into the southern Great Plains. So like I was talking about, all that warm air really shooting up in the country, that's what they're talking about. Let's see here. Northward moisture return into the southern Great Plains by Tuesday, day 8. There is large model variability by early next week, which will result in a substantial uncertainty / predictability concern. So like I was saying, still should be taken with a grain of salt, okay? Still should be taken with a grain of salt here, okay? But like I said, the models, though, they've been talking about it. They've been on it for the last little bit. Is there a warning going on? Did y'all hear that? It's in California. What's going on? Tornado possible, dude. What? That's caught me by surprise. We got a tornado possible tagged warning up there in Northern California right now. Here, let's hop over to that real quickly. I know it's very much off topic, but there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that just got issued with a tornado possible on it. Let's see here. Let me turn on those things there. I'm also going to turn on the data here too. I'll pull up radar. Yeah, let's take a quick look at this thing, and we'll continue back on what we were talking about. Let's see. This includes Paradise, Big Bend, Deadwood. Oh, there it is, right there. That's right up on the radar. Is that the same? That's the same area we were covering yesterday in the live stream. There's also a special marine warning that just got issued here too. All right, let me pull up velocity on there. We're gonna have to tilt a little bit. We're gonna have to give her a tilt. Let's see. We'll do tilt. There we go. Tilt 2. Gonna arc the beam up a little bit so we can see a little higher in the sky. Yeah, I ain't seen too much. Okay, I'll just keep an eye on it. Obviously, if it goes tornado warned or anything like that, we'll mention that. But yeah, once again, tornado possible warning. Like I said, 1-inch hail, quarter-size hail, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts is a possibility out of that storm there. So, got a little cell out there right next to the radar, KBBX there. But yeah, all right, let's go and hop on back here. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. It's kind of interesting. Just honestly, really unexpected. Right by the radar hole. Yeah. Let's see here. Marley says St. Louis. So, like I said, St. Louis would be in one of those areas you need to watch, specifically for that northward moisture advection like we were talking about. So what's happening here is, once again, we're going to have this low-pressure system somewhere positioned up north. And so these guys, they spin counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere here. So that they spin counterclockwise, right? So ultimately, due to that, think of it as a big mixer. So if you've ever baked anything and you've used a mixer before, you notice how the stuff around the edge of the bowl slowly gets closer to where you're mixing, and then it eventually speeds up and gets caught up into the spinning motion. So that's kind of how the atmosphere works, actually. That's kind of how the atmosphere works. So what's happening is that, since this is spinning, it's basically slowly dragging up a bunch of warm air until it gets faster and faster and shoots up into the country in this case. So this is driving a bunch of moisture, a bunch of warm air. Like I said, it's going to be pretty warm early next week, kind of early mid next week. You're going to notice it out there. I mean, all the way up and even in the Ohio Valley. It's going to be very warm, very warm. So that is definitely something that you are, like I said, that's definitely something you're going to want to watch out there for, because it's going to get pretty warm out there. I know a lot of you guys are going to enjoy that, but that's probably going to be short-lived as, like I said, on the opposite side of these storm systems, I mean, you get that cold air that's being brought down. So it's going to be a temporary solution to a big problem. So we're going to have, since it's been pretty cold in some areas here, it's going to be a temporary warm spell. So it's going to be like, oh, nice warm. And then, of course, cold air, as this low pressure system tracks east, will bring it back down in the country. So anyways, let's see here. I'm proud of you for venturing outside your comfort zone with the possible storm. Yeah. Nah, it's just really interesting. I was honestly not expecting that warning there to come through. So yeah, it's definitely very interesting. Very interesting. And like I was saying here on that map, your cold front would be right in this area here. So that's right where the line of storms would potentially initiate. Like I said, we'll just have to see how the models continue showing that. I do want to pull up something though for you guys. Let me bring you all over here to the Euro. Let's go ahead and take a look at the European model. So like I said, it's obviously a good thing to compare models. And I know a lot of people who don't do this, and they need to, because, all models should be taken, or most of the main ones should be taken seriously. I mean, so let me go ahead and bring up the models. It's slowly loading. Once again, I'm sorry, y'all. It's my Wi-Fi is being very slow today. We're going to have to drop down to 12 Zulu run. That's our long-range one that went out here. So this is for a little ways away out there. So let's go ahead and push that out there, y'all. Yeah, once again, it's being a little bit slow. But while that loads here, we'll hop back over here for a minute. But yeah, so with that long line there, I mean, that's going to be bringing some warm temperatures and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and bring this up, actually. the temperature anomalies and all that stuff. That'll show you where it's. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, look at that map. So it really shows you where the temperatures are going to be warmer than normal. It's really there across the central eastern country. I mean, it's going to be pretty warm for a lot of folks out there in the east. Now, the the west bit, yeah, it's going to be a little cold. A little cold. So I'm forgetting my glasses. Oh, they're right here. I got them. Along with a bunch of other assortments of things, like a metal pipe and... Let's see here. What else do I got? I got some bolts. I got literally a wrench that's right in front of me. What other cool things do I got here? I got my logger I'm working on my weather station with. Got a battery. Here's my battery that's going to power the weather station. Yeah, got a bunch of stuff. Anyways. All right, let's hop on back over there. Let's see what the euro is showing us, since that's being a pain in the butt, not wanting to load. Well, first of all, let's see here. So we got that low pressure system. Yeah, we're going to have another low potential, maybe a bit of snow, actually, for the northeast here. This is going to take place kind of on the 23rd. So this is, a couple days away from now. Could be a little bit of something. Like I said, really could kick off a bit of snowfall up there. We'll continue watching that. But let's see here. Well, there's the beginning of something. There you go. Look at that. So there's Euro's model, or European model, the ECMWF. And there you go, Euro. Look at that. Nasty line of potential storms there. Potential storms. 986 millibar low at that point. So once again, it's going to be positioned somewhere up north. Somewhere up in the northern category of the country. But look at that, though. She's there, man. She's there. Both models, as you can see, they're both talking about it. So... once again, like I said, I'm really confident on is sometime, pretty much, let's see, 26th, that's like, what, late this week, I'm pretty sure, late this week, maybe weekend, yeah, Monday, so that's basically early next week, but sometime this weekend, I'd say. I'm actually really, really confident on the fact that we're going to get a bit of some upper level snowfall. I mean, we're probably going to get quite a bit in some areas. A lot of snowfall out there by Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, even like Oregon and Washington. Yeah, probably going to get a lot of, like I said, probably going to get a lot of upper level snowfall. So that's going to be a good likelihood on the storm here. And of course, we work our way down in time. We got this big behemoth of a low pressure system kind of sweeping southern Canada, either that or the northern plains. We're kind of waiting to see where the models agree on with that. But yeah, got a big old storm system rolling through. And of course, at this point here, which this is for the 28th, so basically like early, middle, next week. So once again, you got that low. These guys rotate counterclockwise. And this is pulling up a bunch of warm air from the Gulf region. Pulling up a bunch of warm air shooting its way into the country. So, yeah, no, both models definitely agree on this. And, that's why I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention today. Was due to the fact that, a lot of models have been talking about it now. I mean, this has been the last couple of days. The models have been really talking about this here. And, like I said, it's at this point, it's something that should be watched, but it shouldn't be taken literally quite yet, because like I said, there's going to be a lot of hiccups. The models right now are still going to be, disagreeing for a while, which is typically how it goes. So it's going to be, a couple days, I still think, by the time we get a more solid understanding of who's going to see what. Now, I do think, personally, if you want to know my opinion, I do think there will be severe weather on this somewhere. I'd say the most likely areas here that would likely see severe weather, based off of what I've seen so far, would honestly probably really be targeting the southeast in some of these regions here. I mean, honestly, anything over in this category is a little hard to tell, but at least for portions out there by the Midwest, I'd say, yeah, this would be the best area. I'd say that severe weather seems quite possible. Okay, so like I said, we'll just keep this on the looks here for the next couple of days, and we'll just see how things play out here. Okay. Let's see here. What about tornado threat in Oklahoma? So right now, like I said, specifics, once again, it's a little unknown. But I will tell you that both models do support potential of a bit of severe weather happening slightly east of Oklahoma. I mean, this could ultimately end up in Oklahoma. It just, once again, really determines on that low pressure system, where thing is at, how strong it is. That's going to determine a lot of who and where, is going to see the severe weather potential. So, from what we know, though, there will be a lot of warm air pulling north. I mean, that's pretty much a given at this point. I mean, things will warm up, I can tell you that. And things will cool down across the upper northwest, and there will be a lot of snow across the upper elevations come early next week. But the rest is pretty much unknown. I mean, we're in a setup. We're in a perfect setup for a severe weather event. I wouldn't quite call it an outbreak yet, because there's still a lot of things that can change, okay? Just want to be clear with you. I don't want to give you misinformation or anything like that. So, like I said, that's just how it is. Just how it is. I mean, we're in a setup. All the models are setting us up for a really good shot for a nasty event here next week. Once again, not just severe weather, but also maybe quite of a winter storm on it too. This thing will be more than likely a beast, covering the top to bottom of the country. So, we'll keep an eye on it. With New Jersey, honestly, that's way too far out, Jonathan. I mean, that's pushing several. That's more than a week away if we're pushing out there towards the East Coast. I mean, that's like almost a week, and about a week and a half or so. I mean, that's still a while away. By the time this system even gets remotely close to the East Coast, it's going to be another two or so days. Which, I mean, it's hard enough forecasting for this system right now, yet alone when it reaches near the 28th or 29th. I mean, that's going to be like 8-9 days away. I mean, that's a little far. I mean, you know my book, like I always say. I probably said it 20 times this live stream too. I don't like looking more than 5 days out typically, unless I see serious model support, which I have, and it's been the big word lately with this storm system rolling through. I mean, like I said, everything's in line. Everything's looking like it's lining up pretty good. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Anyways, let's see. Great Lakes will be the chance for severe weather in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley. Honestly, maybe. Once again, like I said before, I mean, it really determines on a bunch of other factors. But here's something I want to show you. This is potential instability or potential energy. This is what we call CAPE, convective available potential energy. So we have, according to the GFS now, this should be taken with a grain of salt. Like I said, taken with a grain of salt. But the instability or the energy for thunderstorms really shoots up in the country. I mean, I'm serious. We're talking like way up in the country here. Now, will it do this? I mean, maybe. We'll just have to see how the models keep on talking. But there is potential that this could really push up some severe weather. A lot higher than we've seen so far this year. I mean, we've had that one little quote-unquote cold core setup we had a week or so ago. Probably about 2 weeks ago at this point. We were tracking up there towards some of these regions here that dropped that tornado in Wisconsin. But yeah, no, it's honestly, like I said, it's honestly a little hard to say right now of exactly who's going to see it. But I'd say it's pretty confident for the South states. I mean, that gives a lot of wiggle room to limit if it doesn't bring up as much moisture, doesn't bring up as much warm air. It's still in the southeast, which seems quite likely. Let's see here. MP, dude, coming with a $5 super chat, man. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate that very much. Big shout out goes to you, MP, and once again, thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Let's see here. Slight risk expected tomorrow. No, I don't think it's gonna go near slight risk tomorrow. Let's go ahead and mention that real quickly. So the SPC, or the Storm Prediction Center, I'm on the wrong page here. That's on mesoanalysis. Here we go. So this is tomorrow's threat here. We do have a small threat for severe weather tomorrow. Once again, I mean, nothing really too crazy, honestly. It's not going to require coverage or anything like that. No tornado threat, which is good. No hail threat, which is good. No damaging wind threat. There is a hail threat. That's the reason why this thing is severe, is for hail, not damaging winds. So tornado probability, less than 2%. Wind probability, less than 5% of damaging winds occurring. Hail, 5%. So, I mean, honestly, nothing Nothing really too crazy. Let me actually zoom back a bit. So we have a little bit of that instability that's available tomorrow. You know what? We're going to pull this up here. Once again, MP, I appreciate that, dude. That's very sweet of you, and you really didn't have to do that. So big thank you. Let me bring up the instability. Bring up that cape here and see what we're talking about here for tomorrow. Let's see. So we work our way down in time here, and you can see how. That's really not a that's really not a lot of cape. Let's see here. Tomorrow being, is this gonna happen late? Thursday night. Gotcha. So evening to Thursday night. So yeah, this will be a late event, it looks like. So yeah, pretty late. Okay. That I can see. So as we approach, yeah, this is roughly right around Thursday morning here, right around midnight. Meanwhile, this is late evening. So yeah, there will be instability, but not a whole lot, really. Here, let me hide my face for a minute so you guys can see the table there. So yeah, there's really not a lot of instability. It's on the lower end of the graph. Like I said, this is potential energy, which could be converted into, in this case, kinetic energy, which right now it's all potential energy. So you can see how it's on the low end of the graph. There's not a lot of fuel there. Think of that, like I said, yeah, as the fuel for these storms. Okay, so once again, there's not a lot of it really here. Another really important thing, consider this the engine. This is basically the winds, or this is the winds. And as we approach across some of those regions there, I mean, yeah, lower level winds will have about 30, maybe 40 knots of winds, which, I mean, we'll get organization going. Motion's northeast here, and if we take a look here at the 500 millibar, so that's mid-level winds here. And you'll see that they're moving in the same direction. So you really want those directional winds to be different if you want tornadoes. Typically, tornado events, you want your lower level winds really screaming north in cases, while the winds change directions as you go up in the atmosphere. And in this case, the lower level winds and the upper level winds are basically pointing in the same direction, which that will lower rotating potential, which would not allow for any tornadic threat, really. That's why there is no tornadic threat. Another way to measure this is what we call storm relative helicity. This basically measures rotative updraft potential in your storms. And let's go ahead and let this load here. I mean, while there is a bit of high helicity values, in this case, since the winds are aiming mostly in the same direction, it's not going to really count too much. So there's going to be no tornado threat tomorrow. That's good. That's really good. I mean, obviously, I'm sure a lot of y'all are happy about that. I know I am. Yeah, we don't want no naders. Last thing, moisture-wise, let's see here. What are those dew points? Are we talking 50s? Yeah, not too much rich moisture. Yeah, moisture's pretty low end. You can see that there's a mild, I'd call it, a mild low-pressure system. So we have an area of low pressure right here in which this is causing, some warmer air to pull up north. Once again, like we were mentioning with the system that's coming up next week we were talking about, it's kind of, in that same area. And, a little bit more cooler air pulling down here. So, yeah, you get the point. Anything for St. Louis? We already mentioned St. Louis earlier. Like I said, you are in an area where we should definitely keep it out there for. Coming early next week. Here, let me hop back over to GFS real quickly. So when it comes to it here, later on down the line, like I said, for basically early next week, we're talking maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, roughly in that time period. We'll see. So no storms are possible while your headline says. Devin, you're very much wrong. If you scroll back in my video, if you're earlier here, like I said, we are watching a really big event potential that's going to be kicking off here across the country. And if my thing would load here, it's taking it a little bit. I'll show you. I'll show you here in a second. But yeah, we have a big trough swinging down here from up north. Like I said, early mid next week, which will allow for things to build it. And you can actually see right in this region here. You see all that purple? That's all potential energy. At this point, this should be taken with a grain of salt, but when it specifically comes to it, yeah, I mean, there you go. There's your potential energy for storms, and all that stuff. And if I was to show you the dew points and all that stuff, which is basically showing us our lower level moisture, we have a lot of advection. A lot of that moisture, warm air is pulling from the Gulf up into the country. So once again, it's gonna be pretty warm too. It's gonna be pretty warm for a lot of for a lot of places here. So. Like I said, we have the setup. She's going to be there. I mean, this has been trending once again for the last, the last several model runs, not just between the GFS but also the European ECMWF, which is a really well-known model in meteorology. And, like I said, it just depends on where that low pressure system ends up. That's what we're still trying to work out between the models here. So that low is going to be somewhere up across the northern plains, either that or in southern Canada. Which it's supposed to be pretty strong too, a pretty strong low, in which this will be causing a lot of that advection we were talking about, a lot of that warm air screaming up north into the country, as you can see here. So once again, that'll not just only warm up the place across these regions here, throughout the Midwest and the Ohio Valley and the Southeast, but this will also build in some instability as that cooler air is going to start to come from the backside. Swinging down because of that rotational effect of that low. Like I said, they rotate counterclockwise here. So it's stirring up the atmosphere. It literally is stirring up the atmosphere. It's stirring up and bringing up a lot of warm air, and it's stirring up and bringing down a lot of cooler air. And then that interaction point right in here is going to be your cold front. So right in that region there. So yeah, there's potential. There's definitely potential. Anyways, let's see. East Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point for East Tennessee, like I said, once again, specifically, it's a little hard to tell right now. We don't really have, that good of an idea on specific areas right now. But all we do know is that this system will definitely be coming together sometime early, kind of early, mid next week here, which definitely could allow for some severe weather to occur. Let's see. Anonymous says tornado outbreak for Raymond, Illinois. That's very specific. So, honestly, a tornado outbreak at this point is unknown. I mean, given the ingredients that is coming together, I mean, this is what you would need for such an event. But that's still a little bit away. So let's just hold off on using that terminology for now. Because there's still a lot of stuff we need to work out before we can talk about that. But Illinois in general, I mean, you're in a region where I would keep an eye out there for, as models do show a bit of instability potentially working its way in that region. But just note that can change very easily by the position of that low pressure system, by that divergence loft. Okay. Let's see. What about Denver next week? Possible blizzard or no? I wouldn't say quite a blizzard, but there is a lot of mountainous snowfall that I do think is going to be a thing you need to watch for. Not specifically for Denver, but really specifically for those upper elevations throughout. Like I said, mostly for those situations throughout the upper elevations overall. So, will the trough be negatively tilted? Yes. It seems like we are going to be seeing that negative tilted trough. So basically our trough is... you can really see that by the euro, actually. If I was to hop back over here, hopefully I still have it up, which I do, thankfully. There you go. You see that line there that euro shows? Really, really nasty. But yeah, no, this thing would be negatively tilted between the GFS and the ECMWF here, between what the models are saying right now. But yeah, no, she has potential. She really does. Threat for Texas next week. Yeah, Texas would possibly be included in that severe weather concern area, just given the fact that, you're right up on that region where a lot of that warm, advecting moisture will be. It just depends on how far down that cool air reaches, which would generate a bit of instability or potential energy, which is CAPE, or convective available potential energy. But yeah. let's see here. Gonna see if I can get to everybody. Will Nebraska have or get any of this around Kansas-Nebraska border? Good question. So Kansas-Nebraska border. Honestly, at this point, I really can't even tell if you're going to be in that or not. Some of the models don't really show you in that. If I was to say it, I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I'd say that it's probably going to happen more east of you, considering what the GFS and what the Euro agree on right now. But that's still not a subject here that's solid. You know, that's still a subject to change per se. I mean, you know, once again, that low pressure system, if it starts off earlier and we got more moisture advected north than models are showing now, then maybe it could be stationed, you know, enough for severe weather out there. But the way our models are talking now, it's probably going to start across like the Midwest. But you know, once again, that's a far shot. That's a really far shot, and in which I'm, you know, not terribly confident on that quite yet. But like I said, what I am confident on is the ingredients being in place for a severe weather event. Like I said, we got a strong low pressure system somewhere located in southern Canada or northern United States, northern plains, upper Midwest region, or sorry, with that in place, and I should say, not or, and with how strong that low is forecasted to be. A lot of models really show that being a pretty strong low pressure system, which will really drive up a lot of warm air into the country. You know, a lot of moisture, you know, rising those dew points, rising the temperatures. I mean, temperatures are going to be rising, which is going to allow for warmer conditions for one, but also, you know, that potential, that interaction to come together. And like I said, obviously, with that being said, the opposite is going to happen. Since this is such a strong low-pressure system, it's actually going to be bringing down a lot of cold air with it. And that intersection point where your cold air and that warm air touch, that's where your cold front's going to be. And that's where you're likely going to see that big line of storms potentially develop. It's just determining on where that's going to take place. That's the big question, is where is that going to take place? We know it's going to happen. We know there's a lot of warm air that's going to pull up, a lot of cold air is going to come down, but where are those two going to meet? And that is where the initiation would likely begin. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Let's see here. The hot and cold going to collide and cause some damage. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, that's pretty much how it works. I mean, you got that warm air coming up, the cold air coming down. I mean, I can visually show that to you. Look at this. Let me bring up the, what was it I was on? I think I was on this. Yeah, let's do this. Thermodynamics, and we'll do temperature anomaly. We'll do shaded. Or, yeah, oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing here. Temperature anomaly, that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, look at this. So we work our way down in time. Look at that big interaction there. Y'all see that? Let me hop over here. I mean, look at that. Look at that thing. I mean, that thing is pretty crazy. I mean, so what you're looking at right here is a temperature anomaly, which basically shows you, you know, if temperatures for a given point are supposed to be or forecasted to be above or below average. And in this case, for this time, you know, for right when the storm system's getting ready to kick off, all of this is above average. All of this stuff right here is expected to be above average regarding temperatures and all of that. And you want to know why? That's because all that advection, that's because all of that moisture and all of those winds are screaming north and driving all of that warm air from the Gulf region, from the subtropics, and pulling it up into the country here. Now, meanwhile, like I said, on the other side of things, once again, low pressure is going to be somewhere up here, okay? On the other side of things, we're getting a big polar blast almost, a big, you know, a big shot of cold air coming down from the opposite side. And once again, we're going to have a real powerful cold front on this here. That's from what it looks like. Real powerful. So this thing is, I think we're in quite an event here if everything continues to show how it's showing here. But we'll see. Let's see. Will there be a strong wind field around the storm? I mean, given the magnitude of the low, I mean, there will likely be some strong winds on it. And it will likely bring some real windy conditions across the country. That I could tell you would be a very probable scenario. Let's see here. I'm going to try to get to all these comments here. That severe thunderstorm warning. It's It's going away. I don't see. Let's see. We still got that one warning, that severe thunderstorm warning we were talking about. Yep, got 26 minutes, tornado possible, quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts out there, north of KBBX radar in California by Paradise and Concal areas. Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard there when that got issued. I was like, wow, that was not expected. That was really not expected. But, dude, I mean, even just looking at this graph, dude, is, like, crazy. It's crazy looking. I mean, you can just see for yourself here. I mean, things are going to be warm, and then you're going to get this real strong low pressure system here, and obviously a lot of warm air advection, a lot of real warm conditions pulling into the east. I mean, even up there in eastern Canada, it's going to get really warm from this. In which, the cold air is going to be coming down. So it's swapping. We're going from warm to cold. How strong is the Cape forecasted? TRC, when it comes to it, Cape right now is not a good thing to look at number-wise, given how it is a couple or several days away. Models in the long range are never really good at predicting potential energy, but like I said, that's something we'd pick up more on mid-range models like the NAM. Or the short-range models like the RAP and HRRR. So we'll talk more about potential instability values or CAPE, convective available potential energy values, whenever the system gets nearer. Will it be possible severe in Pennsylvania? So at this point, I can't really tell you on that, honestly. It's really too far out for you to really tell. The areas that we're focusing on with, like I said, a bit of extended range right now is the central U.S. And by the time it takes a couple more days to reach over towards the northeast, I mean, there could be, a lot of changes from now until then. So at this point, it's not even worth telling you what the models are saying for that area, which it's too early. I mean, that'll be coming through right around the 29th. Roughly, once again, that's just a model estimate, in which, should be taken lightly, taken with a grain of salt. And, you never know. Could be a bit of snow. I mean, that's another thing that will likely occur with the storm system, too, is just not only the potential for severe weather, but also the potential for heavy snow. And the snow part of this event would likely linger north. It's not going to be a snow that's going to be digging down into the country more than likely. It's going to mostly stay up north. And that severe weather could actually get pushed up pretty high, I think. I think it could get shot up into the Ohio Valley, potentially. So, it has potential. You're very welcome, no problem. Let's see here. I'm going to make sure I got through all these comments here. Yeah, I'm trying to help y'all out as much as possible. So if y'all have any questions that's not zip code related, feel free to let me know. And I will try my best to answer them for you guys. Okay? But anyways, yeah, so once again, y'all, it's just really something we need to pay attention to. Really something we need to watch out there for the next several days. I mean, this has really been the next big topic here that everybody's been talking about for the last couple of days. And, since things are starting to continue to show up here, I mean, it's constantly been popping up here. Just came from a YouTube live saying they love you. What? Who? But anyways, so... like I said, ingredients will be coming together here. I mean, they'll be coming in pretty close together. Let me bring up those temperatures for you guys. Just kind of, obviously, specifically those temperatures are going to be a little hard to tell right now. But up there in the Ohio Valley, I mean, yeah, you guys could really get some warm temperatures there. I mean, look at that. That's here for the 27th. 27th here. It's going to wait for my thing to load. Once again, it's been my internet's been super slow today, so my apologies, but there ain't much in my power that I can do to help that. So here, like your content, it was a person in the comments. Oh, well, thank you, appreciate that. Glad you enjoy it. I try to make it as informative and enjoyable as possible. So that really does mean a lot. So thank you. Appreciate that very much. Let's see here. Of all the weather people I follow, you're the most interactive. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. No problem. Like I said, that's what I'm here for, y'all. I'm here to help out much as I can, and whatever. I mean, there's going to be times where I probably can't help you out as much as I'd like to be able to, but that's okay. I try my best to help y'all out, and I try my best to get to everybody's comment. I mean, sometimes weather streams on here get pretty crazy, and I can't keep up with chat while I'm tracking weather, so there's going to be times where I'm going to accidentally, or not intentionally, I should say, skip over your comment or your question. But on streams like this, that's a little more slower pace, a little more easier. I can relatively keep up with most. So let's see here. What's up, Devin? Hope you're doing good, man. Let's see. Just keep Florida sunny. I am on vacation, St. Pete. Gotcha. Nice, Kimberly. Last 2 days been pretty, or last day and a half, I'd say. It's been pretty nice. Pretty sunny after that real big rainstorm we just had down here in Florida. Dude, we got like 2 inches of rain where I'm from. I mean, it was raining for like 2 days straight, man. It was pretty wild, and it got pretty cold there as well. So temperature potential. Now, once again, take this with a grain of salt. This is one model run and one model opinion. But we really could warm up from this event here. I mean, once again, with you see those little barbs there, those are all wind direction, and in this case, they're moving northwest on that little barb there. And you can see on these ones, they're moving northeast, parallel to the frontal boundary there. And of course, you have the vectors. So this is really the vectors. You can kind of see the direction that the winds are moving in. Definitely really neat, and you can see just how everything's playing out. I mean, you got that line. There's a line section, an intersection here, between where your air is moving parallel to the line and perpendicular to the line. Perpendicular to the line is that cold air that's slamming against the southern side, while the parallel to the line is the warm air that's pulling up. So, let's see here. I was on here New Year's Eve. Gotcha. Got pretty warm here today. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty nice. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't anything like super hot or anything like that. Let's see, low pressure system pushes northwest more, making gradients worse, right? I mean, positional is just one input. Another thing would be strength. Obviously, strength, position is the two most important factors when determining severe weather, or just really any system in general. So keep that in mind, strength and position. That is a very, very vital role. For this in particular case, I mean, you can kind of see where that low is located. Get it located. Very, very bad jokes with Andrew tonight. But yeah, that low is somewhere in this region up here, which, like I said, once again, is spinning counterclockwise. That's how they work here in the northern hemisphere. And, once again, I mean, you can see all that warm air really shooting up in the country here. I mean, really, really pulling up from the Gulf. I mean, obviously, you got to think about it. Down south right now, down further south, the further south you go, the more direct sunlight there is. And obviously, the more warmth there is. So all that warm air that's just bubbling up across the south, really in the deep south towards the Gulf, I mean, with a little bit of winds, that warm air starts pulling up into the country, and that's what we're going to be seeing here. And of course here with didn't mean to hit the mic there, sorry y'all, it probably was loud for you. But yeah, the opposite effect happens too. The further up north you go, the more indirect sunlight there is, the more colder it usually is, and all that cool air because of this strong low. That's really strong low pressure system. Serious pressure gradient on this thing will really be, really be bringing down some cooler air there for sure. See, I'm real. Once again, Michael, there's nothing to be scared of right now, dude. There's still a lot of stuff we don't know. So that, just know things can change. Things can change for the better. They really can. But, once again, this is just, the model's been talking about this for the last couple of days, and they've been pretty on point from what they are saying here. But there is still a lot of disagreements, on this system as of right now. So, there is still a lot of stuff that we don't know with the storm system that we'll just have to wait and see. Severe weather season came early this year. Yeah, I mean, looks like it. Hope you have a less active hurricane season for your area. In Illinois, as we get tornadoes, 40-degree weather, let alone 70s. Yeah. Well, I hate to tell you this. It's kind of, is unfortunate, but the way things are looking, it looks like we're going to have another above-average season with hurricanes. Just considering, we're going to be right in that lower neutral zone or weak La Nina, which is, allowing for those trade winds towards the equator to be weaker, which, allows for more of those tropical systems to really gather their strength. Because, I mentioned before, tropical storms and tropical systems, they do not like winds. Even it's very ironic considering that they are wind bags themselves, but they don't like winds that does not belong to them, because they will get eaten up and they will get completely ripped apart. So you need minimal winds. And with La Nina, the trade winds, those winds are a lot weaker, which allows for a group of thunderstorms rolling over the water to organize with little to no problems, which ultimately leads to more storms. What do I think on next week's possible severe weather? That's pretty much what we've been talking about this whole live stream. I mean, like I said, where that interaction is, your warm and cold air, where they intersect here, that'll determine where that front will get initiated and where things will start to fire. But from what it looks like I said, between the models, what should be taken with a grain of salt at this point, does show a pretty good amount of instability working its way really up into the country. There's a setup here. There is a setup here, and I do see potential in it. I really do. It's if this did play out the way that models have been talking about for the last couple of days, then honestly I think this could be pretty interesting and pretty nasty if it continues showing this here. Let's see here. Hurricane season and severe weather season are expected to be above average. Yes, they are. Yeah, like I said, considering that La Nina, and that usually means La Nina East, the EPAC, Eastern Pacific tropical season is going to be a little below average, more than likely. I'd say probably more around average. I'd say personally from the values that the Enzo forecast was showing and all that stuff, it'll probably be right on normal, but it'll be above average, slightly above average here in the Atlantic basin. But anyways. But yeah, guys, we basically talked about what we need to. Like I said, we'll just continue updating you guys on this. I'll be live here for, the next coming days for the system to come through. I'll continue giving you guys updates, so don't expect me, like I said, we're going to be here every day until the event happens, if it happens, which I think it will. Personally, I do think it will happen. It's just a matter of where and how strong. So that still needs to be worked out. But the ingredients are coming together. They are. And, we'll just keep it on it. But like I said, yeah, we'll give you guys daily updates on that. So if you're not subscribed, consider it. I'm not going to force y'all to hit that subscribe button like a lot of YouTubers scream at you to. Not like that. But, it would be very beneficial to you. So consider it. But yeah, like I said, we'll just do more live streams tomorrow night. We'll do another live stream day after, another live stream, and we'll stream until the event gets to the day of. And then the day of, if it requires it, which at this rate, it's very possible, we'll go live for it, and we'll stream it. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, we'll just, like I said, we ain't gonna leave you hanging. We're not gonna leave you hanging. We'll always be here for updates. That's just what this channel is. I go live nearly every day in order to keep y'all informed. So just know you got somewhere to go to for weather updates and all that stuff, and that we'll always be here to tell you what's expected. What do I think the highest threat for severe weather will be? I don't know, man. It's too early to tell. Like I said, this depends on location, strength. There's so many factors that could change this whole outcome. And all those factors is not clear yet. All those factors is not clear yet, in which, this needs to be watched. It's an event that's very concerning looking, but it's an event that needs to be watched over time. The next storm system is really scaring me. Pretty much mild winter here in Michigan. Doesn't look like it's going to be mild next storm. Yeah, like I said, all the ingredients are coming together, and it looks like it could be something to watch. Could be something big. So we're gonna leave you there with that, y'all. Like I said, once again, we're gonna go ahead and head off here pretty soon. We've been live over an hour here, and we really talked about everything we needed to a couple times actually. With the limited amount of information we have, we went over everything we could talk about in this live stream. I mean, there's really not much more I can tell you other than what I've told you. Just given the fact that this is still a couple days away, still several days away, and that there's ever so changing model outputs right now. But what I will leave you with here before I roll off is the fact that the European model, the ECMWF, and the GFS, the American model, have been agreeing on this for the last couple of days, and it's still solid. And just given the fact of what we've been seeing here, what I've been seeing with this, it seems likely that this event's going to happen to some degree. Now, obviously, if it's going to look just like this as you're looking right now, it's unknown. It could be a lot different looking by the time we reach it. It could be worse looking, which I hope not. But, like I said, only time will tell. And we'll just have to keep on watching. Once again, here's your wind speeds, by the way, your lower level winds. I mean, we got a strong lower jet that will likely be, possible with the storm here. According to GFS anyways, that shows that. Yeah, so a lot of that warm advecting moisture, a lot of that warm air coming up from the Gulf, screaming in the country there, that could, once again, that'll really heat things up. That's something I am really confident on. You guys will feel a warm-up, quite a warm-up here across the east, coming into early, mid-next week. It's going to be very warm, following by some very cold temperatures up in the north. So, just a bit of a heads up. Thank you for your information, Andrew. Always helpful. I enjoy it. Well, I'm glad. I am glad, my friend. Glad you enjoy it. You're very welcome, Brooklyn, for going live. No problem. See, worth monitoring. Oh, absolutely. It's beyond worth monitoring. It's honestly our top concern right now. It's anything prior. I mean, obviously tomorrow. Tomorrow we got a little marginal. It's not bad really. Level 1 severe weather threat for only hail. I mean, that's really nothing too crazy, honestly. I'm not worried about tomorrow, honestly, with you guys. It's not going to require coverage at the state it's in right now. I mean, no tornadoes, no damaging wind threat, just a small hail up to quarter size threat. I mean, there's chances that this could not play out at all. So, I mean, we'll see how it rolls, but, I'm not expecting any coverage or anything like that tomorrow. So, but yeah. That is that. Let's see. I guess I'll do that zip code for you, my friend. But yeah, we've been keeping it zip code clean here for now because there's no specific risk areas quite yet. When those risk areas get initiated by the Storm Prediction Center, then we'll talk more about. Okay, this is up in Michigan, so this is way beyond knowing what's going to happen. So, you want to know something? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we don't know. None of us know what's going to look like up there in Michigan at this time. And that's for the 28th by the time it rolls through that region. That's still a long time away. And there's a lot that can change, especially given that low-pressure system position, the strength, how much warm air comes up. How hot will that warm air be coming up? How much cold air comes down? How cold will that be? There's a lot of inputs, a lot of factors that will likely change by the time we get to that point. So, like I said, we'll just keep an eye on it. But yeah, it's too early to tell, man. Too early to tell. Once again, we're not doing zip codes right now specifically for that reason, that there's no highlighted area quite yet. There's no area that's saying this will see severe weather or that will see winter weather. There's no box yet. No box yet. Once that box comes out from the Weather Service, then we'll tell you who's at risk and who's not. Okay? That's a promise I'll make you. And once again, I'll go live again tomorrow. I'll go live again the day after that, day after that, day after that, and then go live for whenever thing pops off. So, like I said, we'll be here for y'all. Okay? Alrighty, guys. Well, you all have a wonderful rest of your night. You guys take care. Like I said, we're going to head off here now. Once again, we've been live a little over an hour here, which, yeah, typical update. But, especially with this event here, there's just only so much information that's available right now for the storm system. I mean, I could, obviously the models are what I'm saying is that there's so much available information that we know that is possible at this point. It's still not for sure. Still a lot of not for sure. But I mean, if I was to give this a probability of happening, this is very likely going to happen to some degree. To some degree, this is very likely going to happen. You're going to notice warm air. You're going to notice that heat up next week, early mid next week, and you're going to notice some cold air towards the central country, as you can see on the map right there. It's going to get cold. It's going to be pretty warm and pretty cold. So, but yeah. All right, y'all. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Once again, special thanks goes to MP as well as Mark for both $5 donations. Appreciate you guys, and like I said, you guys help keep me running, help keep me going, as this is my only source of income. So, so it's much appreciated, y'all. And once again, thank you for supporting us. If you guys would like to check out our merchandise, we got some cool stuff there in the description. I'm working on a project here with the weather station too, so if you'd like to support us, we also have the pin message up there for Venmo or Cashapp. But like I said, I'd never ask for money. I'd never ask for donations or anything like that. That's just if you wanted to support me directly, help support me to live, and help support my weather station build and all that stuff. That's one way to do it. Or that little dollar icon you guys can click on. But anyways, guys, but most importantly is that you guys remain updated. So hit that subscribe button on the way out. That's the only thing I'd ask you guys for. And all right, well, y'all take care. Stream's heading off here in about 2 minutes, y'all. So go ahead and say your final goodbyes to your friends, family, anybody you're hanging with in the chat. And until next time, my friends, we'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right, guys, y'all be safe out there. We'll see ya tomorrow. Peace out, my friends. See you then. Thank you very much, Jay. Appreciate that. All right, guys, y'all have a great night.